Hey, it's Animal Collector here. And today's video, we're going to be going over my Militaria haul from the National Road Military Antique Show of December 2023. Really enjoyed the show. Can't wait to show you guys what I bought. I guess first off, I'll put a picture here on screen. So I went with one friend, and between him and I, this is what the table looked like when we first got back. He bought a ton of prints, a ton of different things. So my items are a little bit more contained, as you saw in the thumbnail. But some really cool stuff, and a lot more American stuff than I normally end up getting as well. So I'm super excited to share all that with you. This was my first time going to the National Road Military Antique Show, and yeah, it was a great time. All the dealers I talked to were super cool. Prices were great. There was a lot of really neat items. And I know one of my big complaints from Max, my last Max video, which I'll link up there, was that I felt like I was sifting through like aisles and aisles of questionable authenticity Third Reich stuff before I was getting to like anything good. And I didn't have that problem with this show. Like every table that I was looking at had like really cool stuff. Some of it was stuff I'm not particularly interested in. Other tables I was at for quite a while. Talked to a lot of really interesting people. Great time. Definitely planning on going back. They had two this year, and talking to the organizer, they said that they're moving to just one show next year in September, I believe. So keep an eye out for that for sure if you're in the area. It was about 2.5 hour drive for me, so it wasn't too bad. Drove out this morning, just came back. It's about 3 in the afternoon currently. But yeah, so go ahead and get started showing you guys what I bought here. So one of the first things, this is kind of later in the show, was this photograph of the USS Von Stuben. Now, what's interesting about the Von Stuben is as soon as I saw the name, I was like, I know that I have something else from this ship. And then I remembered, how I don't know, because I've got so much crap. I have this photo postcard for a guy that was actually, if I can get the camera to focus here. Come on. Yeah, his cab tally there, as you can see, says USS Von Stuben. So yeah, I actually had a postcard for a guy that served on this vessel, which was pretty neat. So now these two pieces are together, which I think is kind of awesome. But yeah, so moving on here. This isn't anything particularly exciting. This is a nice little World War I mess kit. Engraved the guy's name, Frank Evans. And then, yeah, along the rim there, got a few other initials. Just scribbling on this while I was bored, more or less. But it's like 20-ish bucks, so really couldn't pass it up for that cheaper price. Also found this really neat patriotic, like World War I era, like Remember Me scarf. When the golden sun is sinking and your mind find troubles free, while of others you are thinking, will you sometimes think of me? Got the capital there, Lady Liberty, I'm assuming. We got a Doughboy. Yeah, just kind of like a neat little patriotic home front item. I do like picking those up if I can find them for cheap. Another home front item that I picked up. So filming this, it's December 2nd currently. And of course, Pearl Harbor Day is coming up. And I found this really cool Remember Pearl Harbor, buy war bonds, keep them flying envelope that you put your war bonds in. And I had to have it. I think the price is a little more than I would have liked to have paid. But, yeah, with Pearl Harbor coming up, I just had to have that one. Moving on here. Only bought 3 death cards this show. I saw booths that had more, but I was already running through my money pretty fast, so I didn't want to spend too much time digging through death card piles. First one we have here is for a Yakov Schrummel, who was an Obergefreiter in an infantry regiment, and was veteran of the campaigns of the Balkans and in Russia, bear the Iron Cross Second Class, the Wound Badges, and other military awards. He was killed August 28th, 1942 by Staraya, Russia. So, pretty interesting there. And then we have Ernst Wallner, who was killed on October 12th, 1943 in the fighting at Melitopol, which, of course, in more recent times has also seen some fighting during the Russo-Ukrainian War. And this last one was kind of interesting. So Alois Schmidt here, who's an Obergefreiter, veteran of the campaigns in Poland, France, and Belgium. But there's this little line here, Tu Manata and Franz Sicher Gefangenschaft. So Gefangenschaft's prison. So I don't know if this means he was a POW in France for 2 months, or if he was guarding a POW camp in France for 2 months. But anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting detail. And he was killed December 21st, 1941 in the fighting near Gustakevo, it looks like. Gustakevo. But yeah, so not a lot of death cards. Ones I got were pretty interesting. Moving on here, I did actually buy a book as well. The author was there. I talked to them for quite a bit. But they wrote this book on the BDM, which is I guess the girl's part of the Hitler Youth. I know a little tiny bit about them, but not much. But I guess she wrote this book based off her mother's experience because she was 14 in 1941 and was part of this program. So, like I said, know very little. Very much looking forward to reading through this. But I guess they were sending them out into the country to learn country living and traditional German values or something. But yeah, should be an interesting read regardless. And then moving on here. This is kind of neat. So this is Volume 1, Issue 1 of the Naval Periscope, which seems to be a naval magazine published for all naval men of the 1st Naval District. Just a couple of really neat articles. You got some comics and things in here. I haven't really had the chance to do more than just a quick glide through, but there's definitely some interesting stuff that I'm looking forward to doing more research on. And all these ads from the period are also really, really cool. Yep, February 5th, 1919, so just after World War I. So another item I have here, this is a grave tag off of the cross of Franz Folkowski, who was a cannoneer who was killed June 6, 1918. So what the gentleman who sold this to me was telling me is, this came from the Neuville St. Vos German War Cemetery. And I guess sometime back in the late 70s, early 80s, they came through and took out all the wooden crosses that were there and replaced them with these ones. And I guess the locals saved the tags out of a lot of these crosses. They ended up using them for like firewood, construction projects. So he had a ton, but I picked this one up as for, he was apparently a part of the 9th Battery, Field Artillery Regiment 43. So I just thought it was kind of cool. Death card adjacent, as it were. This is kind of a neat, not really a yard long, I guess more like a 1.5 long. But this shows the submarine yard, or the submarine dock here at New London, Connecticut, September 2nd, 1922. Really awesome. So the subs that we can see here are the R-23, the R-22, the S-51, the S-49, the K-1, and the K-5 all lined up here. Super cool early U.S. submarine stuff. They had it selling for what I thought was a very reasonable price, so I just snapped it up immediately. So I'm very, very cool. You don't see these larger format photos of like vehicles super often. They're in the style of like the yard long prints. So yeah, just awesome. Frame's really nice. And definitely looking forward to putting that one up on a wall. Yes, the next one is an Ike Jacket. Now, we've had a few of these in over the years. But this one caught my eye because it's actually related to the Manhattan Project, which I thought was pretty cool. So the guy that picked this up did the research on it, and the soldier, H. Willard Alstrom Jr., was actually stationed at the Y-12 uranium facility. So super neat. You can see the patch up here on the sleeve. Very cool. And apparently when he got the uniform, he was going through the pockets, and his dog tags are also in there. So haven't had a chance to read through this full yet, but one thing that I saw that I thought was pretty neat is that apparently when he was a kid, he got into trouble with the local law with 3 other kids, and made a pact, I guess, to come together on New Year's Eve, 1999, and they were all alive. They did end up actually meeting up, some of them for the first time since like World War II. So super cool stuff there. Definitely looking forward to doing some research and hopefully being able to do a video on that in the future. One thing he did say is that the second bar here he doesn't think is original to the uniform. Somebody must have added it at some point. You see that a lot is sometimes collectors will dress up uniforms a little bit, but he said everything else looked good. And yeah, don't have anything related to Manhattan Project, and so as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, I definitely definitely need to pick that up, especially since the price was very, very reasonable. So yeah, overall, really good show there, and then I know you've been seeing it in the background this whole time, so we're going to talk about probably my favorite find of the entire show, if I'm being honest, is this lovely Army-Navy flag, and it is huge. I'll go ahead and pick up my camera here so you can appreciate it. This is my dining room table. And it covers the whole thing. It spreads the entire room. So the Army-Navy E-Series awards were given to factories for meeting their production goals. So, there'd be this big presentation. The workers get these little E-badges. And yeah, just overall a really, really, good morale thing they would do. They'd have these flags they could hang up in the factories. So this is a really nice home front piece. The guy that I got it from says he doesn't think it's ever been flown anywhere. It's in really great shape. Not really any fading or anything. He did note most of the ones you see have a white border, which this one doesn't, so I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, they made these in all kinds of different sizes. You can find small ones on eBay sometimes. He said the local museum had one that was like 29 feet from one of the local factories. So this is a large enough size that it's going to look really good on a wall, but it's not so large that like it takes up an entire room. What I'm actually thinking of doing with it is putting it on the ceiling of the staircase leading up to my second floor. If I could find a way to mount it that's not going to hurt the flag at all, just so you can kind of look up and see it, I think it'd be super cool. But yeah, no, overall, really, really enjoyed the show. Definitely looking forward to going back next year. And yeah, if you haven't been in the area or, within a few hours of it, I think it's definitely worth checking out. Definitely a smaller show when compared to something like Max, but I actually appreciated that it felt like I could take my time to go through each table instead of, sprinting through it like I feel like I'd have to do at Max every year. So yeah, overall, really, I can't say enough nice things about the show. Really appreciated the organizers actually were the ones who told me they were having it. They sell stuff at Max as well. So I really appreciate them putting it on my radar. And yeah, overall, just awesome show. Spent far more money than I anticipated or wanted to, but all well worth it at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Planning on posting this video whatever the Friday before Christmas is. I think that's the 22nd. So yeah, this will be the last video before the holiday. In that case, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you all. May the Militaria Christmas spirit be good to you. And yeah, overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.